All right, all right. My blog today is about marketing and doing conventions and live appearances and all that stuff. And as a self-published writer, no matter whether you have books published by other publishers, and shout out to my other publishers, Black Bed Sheets and Black Beauty Presents, you still have to do your marketing. Unless you're with a big publisher, your appearances are something that you have to coordinate yourself. And there's only 52 weekends in the year. Most conventions don't really happen any other days besides Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Some go till Monday, but you know, it comes down to where you want to go sometimes when they overlap. So now I have a dilemma. And I'm only up till July, so I don't know what August, September, the rest of the year will present. I'm pretty sure September or October may bring in some conflicts as well. Nothing conflicting what I want to do. They're all conflicting dates of things that I want to do. Okay, so I don't have to do something that I don't want to do. It's not a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of date, right? So now I have the Atlanta Science Fiction Convention and the Big Apple Comic Con. That's both the same weekend. I think it's March 8th and 9th, or 9th and 10th. It's just, I don't know what I want to do. And that dilemma is pretty much seeing how my books will sell in New York. And I've never really had a table at a New York comic book convention or New York, really anything in the last six or 7 years. I think the last time I did a table was at the Harlem Book Fair, and that I only had, I think, 2 books. I think I had Gold Digger Killer and Thug Angel, or Gold Digger Killer and the Hip Hop Dating Guide, and that was it. Now I do believe the Hip Hop Dating Guide is capable of being big seller, but at the time I was self-publishing Gold Digger Killer, and the cover was an animated cover, which I still think is a good cover, but the problem is it was before Black Panther, and so now after Black Panther there is a possibility, but still the Gold Digger Killer cover has to look like how it looks, because it's a street lit urban fiction story. So to make it look at anything else wouldn't be good. All right, so now do I go to Atlanta? My man Tony Cades, which I've already applied for a panel, or do I go to Big Apple, and I've already applied for a panel there? Sometimes I let who accepts me as a panel person just dictate on which convention I go to, but I'm really leaning towards New York because they're both a flight. I have family in both cities, so that may not be a problem, and I probably would drive to both of them, but if not, flights are no different because you can't take but so much stuff. But I think if I went to New York, I would have to drive, because I would really I want to set up a big table and really be embraced. So I'm really leaning towards New York. I hope they accept the panel, because that'll make the decision easier. Panels just give me more visibility, and up until like Black Panther, you really had to tell people what black sci-fi was. Next, so that's my first dilemma. Second dilemma is I have my Miami area's biggest comic book convention, Florida SuperCon, coming in 4th of July weekend. It's a big weekend, and they take it over, and they've gotten up to 60,000 people. However, I've had shared tables with visibility pretty much at every convention they've had. And while I may not have had my full booth up the way I like it. The last 2 years really has been it. Prior to that, I didn't really have like all of my books out and didn't really have my whole marketing plan for what you call it, the Welcome to Boss Ladies Planet and all of my books. Sorry, the light is getting on me. But I still, last couple of years, I shared a table and I didn't really have like a full banner up. But regardless, I don't think that made a big difference in selling. My book sales were really slow, selling like 8 books a day. That's not even a lot. And then like the first day or two, I don't even think I reached that number. So you're looking at possibly, like, if I sold 30 books, that would be amazing. I've sold 30 books in a one-day convention at other places. So SuperCon, while they get major numbers, their readership for books is sort of low. Now, that's aside. It's 4 days. It's local. The booth is $275, and they haven't sold out yet, so I have time. But the other convention is in New Orleans with Essence Music Fest, and I found a book event, which is just one for now. It's 4 hours. It's a pop-up, but the tables is $50, and they should have a big audience. And regardless, I've heard people sell their books on the street in New Orleans and sell more books than I sold in my at SuperCon. So I'm thinking, shoot, I could pull up at a corner and just pop my car open and do it street lit style in New Orleans. And I don't have to stay the whole time, but the hotel rooms are the biggest thing. You got to stay practically 20 minutes out to even get a hotel at $200 a night. So that's expensive. I don't know. And I hate looking for a hotel, and New Orleans and all of that is probably not the most friendliest section of America outside of the New Orleans area. So I really want to have that tight, because it's not like I can say, oh, it's New York, I can drive 20 minutes and still, find a hotel with welcoming people. It's not that place. So I'm really leaning towards that event. I think there's other events and trouble that I can get into. Of course, being at the Essence Fest, it's probably like $7,000. A small table is probably $1,500. So that's extremely high for a writer. Now, can I get into some trouble? Maybe I can get into some trouble as a vendor, and I might even apply for a press pass to the book fest, so that way I can go in and network myself. So I'm really leaning towards that. SuperCon is beautiful, and I make a lot of connections with local artists and artists that come in town, but I don't know, I got to sell these books. So that's second one. And my third conflict is Comic-Con in general. I have a conflict with Comic-Con, and this is July 28th to the something. I'm not sure what the date is, but it's the same week as the Harlem Book Fair. And I'm like, oh my God. So I believe it's the Harlem Book Fair. If not, the following week is WakandaCon. And WakandaCon is beautiful. Heck, I sold, I would like to say 15 books. Doing little pop-up tables that they give you as a guest. They give you like pop-up tables outside your panel. And, I sold decent there, but I know another writer who sold like all of her books. Shout out to Jessica Cage, and she really made it really attractive for me to do. And it's not like I didn't sell. I just had to stick, stay on my grind a little bit better. And I sold, I mean, just stay in the same place and actually talk to people and be in the mix. So I don't know how much their vendor tables are. It's a flight, and I'll probably bring the family, so that's 3 tickets and his hotel. But last year I met Van Jones. Not that he's anybody in literature. He's a black pundit, a political commentary person, and he's got his own show. So I met him, gave him a book. I gave him a book, right? I think he was going to buy something. I'm not sure, but I know I gave him a book. Anyway, it was good for connections, and I had one of the best panels. My God, the Monster panel was tremendous. We had about 150 people, maybe 200 people in the audience, and the panel was just lively and focused, and it wasn't, remedial, where you had to educate some of the panel members on some of the things that we talked about. Everybody got everything we was talking about, and that was really good. So again, those are my dilemmas. I think now, talking to everybody and putting this blog out there, my marketing will come down to a little bit of numbers, but my marketing budget isn't a fixed number because I'm still investing. My books are just starting to pay for themselves. I used to have to bleed. I mean, books should always pay for themselves, but I'm breaking even at conventions locally. My conventions that I go away to, I may break even on the sale of the table, but for travel and hotel and food, I'm still losing. So I'm still investing. So it's still investment. Some places I go, I can't even take enough books to pay for the airfare and the hotel. And so you go in knowing it's going to be an investment, but you're doing it because you're promoting yourself and your name. Selling 30 books, it may be $300 or $450 gross sales, but your books cost $5. So that knocks down your profit almost half. So say $450, right? You're now down to $225, right? And $225, you got to pay for your booth, right? Which could be $100, and then you got to pay for your hotel, which is at least $100 a night. And if you stay in 2 nights, there you have it. Or if you have to fly, ain't no place in America you can fly for under $150 unless you're on Spirit. And Spirit, you can't really take no books, so you can't take no carry-ons. So you're going to be in the home. So you got to you got to get your book sales up over 50 books and 100 books. Now, the thing about selling 100 books is heavy and it's not a carry-on. And it can compromise your check-in bag, and it can compromise, you can't carry it on. So there you have it. Now, if you travel with a family and you get somebody else to take some books, you still got to factor their plane ticket in. The best thing to do is to drive. And driving is cheaper, but it's also more time consuming because you have to, you got to leave days before, 6-hour drive, 10-hour drive. All of those are, the day before. It's really hard to say, I'm going to get up at 12 midnight and drive all day and then still be of use when you get to a place. Maybe for younger writers, probably for me, I could have done that when I was younger, but certainly not now. 51, man, my health would be at risk. My heart would be beating crazy if I got there on those terms. So anyway, that's it. Hit me with questions or comments. If you'd like to see me somewhere, got a convention, I can consider everything as a long drive for me. I live in South Florida, so even getting out of the state is 6 to 7 hours. All right, of driving. All right, peace.